Alright, so before you work on this with your pod, I want to show you how I would make sure I have all of my steps. The first thing I would do is just write ACES at the top of your paper. So where you have your guided practice paper, go ahead and write ACES. The first part of that ACES, A, is to answer all parts of the question. If we look at all of these questions, there's only one that has more than one part. So you're going to go ahead and underline the whole first question for number 2 and put a 1 next to it, and then underline the second question and put a 2 next to it. Then, if you need to separate your paper so that you make sure you answer questions 1 and 2. That's my A. That's going to make sure I do my A. Next, I need to cite evidence. Well, there's only text, so I'm going to put a bracket around my text and say evidence. I know I need to be looking up here when I answer these questions. Put a check next to cite evidence. E is your explain. Here's where you really get big points to push you up from a basic to a mastery, because you're showing the reader how much you know about chemistry. So I'm going to underline every science word I know that I should define with a V, because that's science vocab. Physical change, you know what that means. Make sure you put a V so you remember to explain it. Chemical change, make sure you put a V so you know to define that one. Intestable question, you know that should be how does blank affect blank. Finally, for your dependent variable, put a V, you know you need to talk about what we're going to measure. Also, when you explain, you need to use the word because. So especially if there's an explain in there, put a little BC to remind you that you need to use the word because. The last thing you should do is put no it's at the top of your paper. That's going to remind you to avoid pronouns. And that's the last step of your E. So remember to explain, put V for all the vocab you know you want to define. Every time you see the word explain, put a BC for because. The last thing you should do is summarize, but we have 3 short questions, so we don't need to summarize. Later on in the year, we will teach you how to summarize if it's just one question that you really might need to wrap up. So you're going to do this, but now you're set up for success because you are going to answer both parts of question 2. You're going to cite evidence from up here, and you're going to explain by translating your vocab words in your answer and using the word because as much as you can. This will be for a group grade. Good luck.